Standing behind me are some big ass pyramid looking rocks. These rocks were used to defend against the Allied forces. These rocks stand between the Belgium and German borders. They used to defend tanks, and these rocks are so ginormous. I mean, especially this one. I mean, this is almost as tall as me. No tank is getting over these big ass looking rocks. I mean, look how far this goes. This is the forest. But what does this have to do with falling back into your old habits? Well, it's kind of obvious, but these rocks, these serve absolutely no purpose anymore, except for one purpose, but we'll get to that. It's been 80 years since the war, and we do not need to defend ourselves against tanks anymore. So why are these rocks still here? Why is there a pathway? Why are there information things here? These rocks serve as a sort of memorial, a monument, to remember the war, to remember the atrocities committed here during the war. And that's exactly what you need to do. You've forgotten what it was like to be in this stage of your life, back when you had these old habits, whether it was scrolling. Scrolling isn't that deep, even though it ruined your life. But other addictions like porn, drinking, drugs, smoking, all of that. You've forgotten what it's like to be in this stage of your life. And this is exactly what we got right 80 years ago. We knew that we cannot forget what happened during the war. And that's why stuff like this still stands. Even though this is probably the worst phase of humanity, we still kept things to remember. For example, these rocks. How do we use this tactic to ourselves? How can we remember how it was to live in this phase of our life? Well, the first way is simply by realizing this fact. Once I realized this, falling back into old habits, since then I haven't. Not at all. Obviously, it keeps happening. It's not like I never fall back into old habits, but I catch myself way quicker. As soon as I notice I'm falling back, I remember and I make sure that I still do the habits that keep me from going back into this old habit. For example, a bad habit of mine was skipping warm-ups, and that's the reason I got injured. I partially tore my tricep tendon, and since then, I have not skipped a warm-up. There has been times where I have, definitely, but since then, I've become absolutely terrified of getting injured, and by simply knowing this fact, that I can slip back in, as long as I remember how it felt to be injured, as long as I remember this time, you will never fall back in. But simply just looking back at how your life was is not going to do much. There's something more powerful. Music. During this time of your life, you would most likely listen to music, some type of music. Whether it's some depressive music, some other type of music. Try to remember what music you listen to back in this period of your life. I want you to listen to it. Remember how it felt to be in this period of your life. Whether you're doom scrolling, remember how it felt to just be trapped by your screen. You should be doing something else, but you're just scrolling all the time. Remember how it felt like to be drunk all the time if you're an alcoholic. Remember how it felt to be trapped in this thing you call addiction. Listen to this music once a week, even just once a month, and you will never fall back into this habit again. It is such a simple tactic, but yet so effective. Because of this memorial, because we kept these teeth, the right-wing party, AFD, we've kept their votes under control for the last 80 years. Because of something so simple. Some fucking rocks. Obviously not just this, like museums, old concentration camps, like Auschwitz, It is so simple yet so effective. Because stuff like this, they cause fear. And fear is the most potent power on this earth. And if you fear your past, you will never return back to it. And that's all you need to do. I hope you learned something.